Hello beauty queens and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on my mineral foundation routine. I have been wearing mineral foundation now for probably 10-12 years, so I'm really excited to teach you guys some of the tips and tricks I have taught myself along the way. I am also going to be jumping into some contouring, highlighting, blush, baking, all that good stuff. So I'm hoping to answer all your guys' questions on how I get my face to look the way it does, if that kind of can sum up all the questions I get. So if you guys have additional questions or comments, just leave them below and I will get back to you guys. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it or truly find it helpful. And if you want to learn how I do my mineral foundation, then just please keep watching. Alrighty you guys, so as you can see, I already have my eyeshadow done. I always do my eyeshadow first just because that way I can be as messy as possible and not have to worry about cleaning it off my foundation. So it's already done. The next step I go into is my entire face. So as you can see, my face is pretty red and like just blotchy. I do have like acne spots on it. So to start off my foundation, I always start with a concealer. Right now I'm using two of these Urban Decay Naked concealers. One is Fair Warm and Light Warm, and I just kind of mix them all over my face, and I'll kind of jump into that now so you can see how I do that. So I usually just dot some on my forehead. I always start on my forehead too. I don't know why. And then right now I'm using this beauty blender by Morphe. It is amazing. I feel like it doesn't soak up as much product as the Real Techniques beauty sponge or whatever you want to call it does. So I did switch over to this one for my concealer on my face. Okay, so as you can already see from just this side of my face to this side of my face, how much more even this one is, and this one's still like that red, blotchy, acne spots all over. This just helps even out my skin. So it's just I try to do as little concealer as I need to still let my skin breathe. I still have to put on the mineral foundation, and that's where I'm gonna get most of my coverage from. And I'll go over this with the sponge until I can see, like sometimes when I still like pounce on it like this, I'll see the mark of the beauty blender, or like it'll leave like a little mark. So I'll keep pouncing until I don't see any more marks on my face, and then that lets me know that it's completely blended out and it's as thin and even as possible. And then sometimes honestly I'll just go back around my entire face. Never forget your ears. That's why I don't wear earrings when I get ready, because I have to put it all over my ears, or else you're gonna have like red or regular color ears with like foundation face. So I always put it on my ears. This also gives the mineral foundation something to cling to. Some people will use primer. I don't really use primers on my eyes or my face. So using this concealer evens out your skin tone for one. That's one of the main reasons why I use it, but it also gives the mineral foundation something to cling to and stick to. So that way you're not just putting powder on plain skin. It's just gonna come off and have nothing to stick to. It's not gonna give you any coverage really. So with that being said, I use right now Bare Minerals. My shade is Fairly Light. I just dump some in the cap like this, and then I take the same beauty sponge from Morphe and I just smash onto the powder. It's gonna look like this, and then I just usually pat that all over my cheek like this, and I'll even go up on the forehead because it does pick up quite a bit on that first stamp because the beauty blender is wet. But after a little while you're not going to get as much on the beauty blender, so it won't pick up as much. So what I'm saying is it just doesn't go as far the second time. Okay, so I just got done putting the foundation all over my face. So as you can see, it gives so much coverage. I feel like people think that mineral foundation is not going to give as much coverage, but it honestly does. I think the problem is that they go in with mineral foundation just on plain old skin. They don't put any primer or concealer or something for it to cling to. So I think that's the first tip and the number one key for mineral foundation is use something for the mineral foundation to cling to, and then it'll sit on your skin. I always take this brush. This one's the E3 by Morphe, and I just kind of very lightly just dust over my face just like this to make sure that there's no extra powder on my face. That way the concealer will go on just like it would if you were to use a liquid foundation. So moving on to the concealer, I'm going to go back in with the same two concealers. I'm going to use more of the light one for my under eye and to highlight with. I'm just going to put some dots underneath my eye. I'm going to add a little bit of color in with the darker one. I'm going to use my concealer sponge and just blend that out. I do take it from my inner corner of my eye all the way out and up onto the temple. Highlighting your face, doing this, bringing it upwards, going to bring your face upwards. So I highlight or conceal my under eye. I usually go right here on the side of my nose all the way up to the temple, and then I kind of bring that down. I go on top of the cheekbone, then I bring it down and I highlight this like part of my cheek as well, like the big apple part of my cheek. Now I'm going to take the other beauty blender, or sorry, Real Technique sponge, and I'm just going to dab it in. This is the Laura Mercier, the translucent powder. It's almost gone, so I have it in the lid, and I'm just going to do the same thing like I did with my foundation, dip it into the powder, knock off the extra, and then just go in and immediately set that powder so it doesn't start creasing under your eye. Moving on to my forehead, I will take the same concealers. I'm going to go up here and on my chin. We're going to be done with that. A little bit color. That was more color on my forehead than I wanted, but that's okay. On my chin, and then I have a little extra on the beauty blender, and that's what I use for my nose. Then I blend out my forehead. I will keep this, I will put it in a V, so I'm going from here to here. This whole area I will highlight right in here, like the flat part of your head. Just set that concealer. Alright you guys, so we're going to move on to the contouring portion of my face. This is probably the biggest question I ever get from people is how to contour. So I'm pretty excited to kind of show you guys my tricks and what I use and how I do it for my skin, and hopefully you can apply this or take the tips and use it towards your skin. So the contouring palette I use is the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D. The color I use, like I said, it is almost gone. So I use that middle shade here. Is what I use to contour. I sometimes mix this in, but I noticed it was kind of turning my face a tad purple when I used it. So I kind of just use this one now, and then I'll show you what I do with these bottom colors here, because as you can see, they are all at the bottom of the pan as well. So going in with that middle shade, I also use this brush by Morphe. It's the M523. So what I do then is I always start with my temples. I take this up here and I hold my hair back. Honestly, I don't know why. You guys, sometimes these things I do are just because I think they're just habit. So don't mind me if I do something weird. But I hold my hair back, especially right in here. Like these hairs will come out, and when you're like trying to get your side, they'll come out. So I think I held my hair because like little strays come out and it drives me nuts. So anyways, I hold my hair back and I start in my temples. The darkest color is going to be at my hairline. Once I get that in there, I'm going to start blending towards the arch of my brow. So most product, right where you set your brush down is where most of that pigmentation is going to be. So I focus the darkest part at my hairline, like right on my hair. Like this is halfway in my hair. Can you see that? That's halfway in my hair. So I put it up there, blend it all throughout the hairline, and then as product leaves, I'm gonna bring that down into like this part of my eye or forehead or eyebrow. So I kind of do like a big triangle leading to the arch of my brow. Once I feel like there isn't any more product on my brush, I then go through in circular motions and blend that out even further. The best way to explain it is just knowing that you're gonna want the darkest at the outer and then leading into the lightest. So usually, like they say, there's a heart on your face. So if you take your hands like this, obviously my hands are not that big, but if you take a heart and do this around your face, everything within that heart should be the lightest portion of your face, and then anything outside of that heart is going to be the darkest part of your face. So you're going to start with the darkest and then move into the lightest. So it's kind of like a huge ombre on your face. Moving on to the cheeks, the general rule is going from like the top of your ear down to the corner of your mouth. Obviously not a straight line that way, but that's kind of the initial spot you want to do. So aiming here and then working your way down to here. So most of the time what I do is I stare straight into the mirror and I look for that hollow part or the part of my cheek that dips in. The dip in part is where I put my contour. my face most of the time is relaxed and I'm not having any other emotion on my face, I guess. So that's why I don't do this, because I feel like it changes the way my face is. So when I'm not doing that anymore, now my contour I feel like is in a different spot. So I just look straight into the mirror. I'll find where that dip is coming from. For me, I just know now like where to contour at, but to have like a general rule, I put it in where that like hollowed out part of your cheek is. So for me, sorry, I'm not looking straight onto you guys, I'm looking into my mirror. So I will put it right in, so the brush is long ways, or you can have it skinny ways. I put it on my face, kind of diagonal, actually, like this. So it looks like this. So this is long way, it's like the skinny way. I put it on my face like this, as a diagonal to move along with my face. For this side, obviously I do the same. So I'm putting it on my face kind of like a diagonal to match the face shape. And then I just stare into the mirror, and then you'll just see I'll work my way down. Darkest being at your ear, and then lightening as you come down towards your mouth. Alright you guys, so now that we have the contour on my face and it's nice and blended out to perfection, a nice ombre effect going, I'm going to further blend it out with a bronzer. We'll blend it out in the same way I did the contour. So I'm going to start at the hairline, go in circular motions, and just blend everything out. This I feel like I can use a little bit further than the contour, so I'm going to use it on the cheeks and the forehead, half of my face. So now I just realized I didn't even contour my nose. What? So I'm gonna go back into the contour. I use this little brush. It came out of the Modern Renaissance palette, and it just works for me for my nose. It's kind of just a fluffy brush. I will start at the point of my eyebrow right here, and I'm gonna bring it all the way down. So if you look straight onto the mirror, there's already a shadow. Like you can see even on the camera, there's already a shadow on your nose. Like right there is where mine starts. That exactly is where I will contour my nose. For others that might not see that, if you want your nose to look skinnier, just put the contours closer together like this. If you want it to look wider, put it further apart. You're gonna highlight the top, or you're gonna highlight the part that you're not contouring. So usually with my nose, I'll go in a straight line like this, down onto like the bulb of my nose. I'll go around in a circle, and then I'm going to work my way up to the eyebrow in a circle to blend it out and also give it a nice ombre effect, so it's not just a line down my nose. Now, a little trick. A little trick I do is taking this Shade and Light palette. I told you what I would do with the top 3 lighter colors. I'm going to take this Real Technique sponge again, and I'm gonna go through the top, and I'm going to grab, I used to use this one a lot in the summertime. I would use this one for my under eye. Right now I'm using this one a little bit more with a little blend of this pink, and that really helps highlight your under eye. I will show you here. Let me grab the thumb of this product on the sponge, and then kind of tighten up those under eyes and pat it on there. And I hope this crappy little iPhone camera can pick up its magic with how much it really helps the under eye. We're going to grab a tad just for the chinny, the nose, and the middle of the forehead. Again, I don't put anything in between my eyebrows, really. This, I will drag it down once all the product is left. I will drag it down so those things meet, so there's not a spot right here just missing with nothing, just foundation. So I will blend that in there, but not very much product. Okay, I'll go through and just blend this out just a little bit more now that I have all the spots I wanted highlighted again. And then what I do is I grab this bronzing brush, the one that I put the Hoola Light on with. I'm gonna wipe it off, clean it off, and go back through and buff that out. Moving on to blush. Right now I am using, and I'm obsessed with this combo, so I'm using Risque by Tarte. It's one of my favorite blushes. I think I use this every day no matter what blush I'm putting on. It looks like this, as you can see, pan again, but I love this. Love, love, love that blush. And I've been mixing it with this out of the Back Talk palette by Urban Decay. It's called a Double Take, and it's this one. I kind of mixed the two of those together. The brush I use is E4 by Morphe. I just kind of stamp in the Risque Tarte, and then I do a couple stamps in the Double Take from Urban Decay. Now with this makeup brush, or the blush brush, what I do is, it looks like this. When I put it on, I squeeze this down, I push it together so the fat end, so it looks like this. I'll just stamp that on the apple of my cheek. And I usually focus most of that product, most of the pigmentation here on the apple part. And then as product leaves, I will bring that back. And then as most of the product is off the brush, I'll take it and I'll start swirling it like that. Give it a nice blended look. So stinking pretty. I love this cheek combo. All right, you guys, so now I'm done with my face. I'm gonna move on to the bake. I literally just started baking my face last week. You can leave like this. I've done my makeup like this and left it like this for years. Like I said, I literally just started baking my face last week. So I just kind of have been trying to perfect it and really see if I like it. So how I do that is I look straight on into the mirror like I do with my contour, and I'll see like that dip of your face where I notice the dip stops and kind of just levels out with my face. I'm gonna start the baking at that point. I feel like that'll give the illusion, if you highlight this part of your face, that'll give the illusion that this is more sunk in than it is. So I just get the Morphe brush. The straight edge is incredible. It's Ingenious by Morphe. I use this to bake my face. So again, just look straight on. I'll find where it starts to just flatten out, and then I'll bake there. And then kind of the same motion as well. So how you used the contour went from your upper part of your ear down to your mouth. Same thing. I'm just gonna bring this and bring it straight around to the corner of your mouth. And then just drag it down a little bit. As you can see, I'm not good at it, but that's why I keep practicing. Alright, you guys, so now I let that bake, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my face. My favorite combo lately, I've been using Bridget by Gerard Cosmetics, and I've been also mixing that with a tiny bit of this Low Key out of that same Back Talk palette from Urban Decay. So I will go in with that Low Key color because it does have a little bit of a pink tone, and it looks really pretty over the blush. This highlight brush too, by the way, is M501 by Morphe. And I just set this on the top of your cheekbone. So if you don't know where it's at, just kind of feel for it. I just know where mine is at. Another key that you can do is kind of just put it on top of the blush. So, I mean, right, you know where to find your cheekbone. like I said, if you don't, kind of just feel for the top of it, and that's where you're gonna put your highlight. I also run this up through the temples as well, once there's hardly any product left. So as you can see, that kind of gives just a pink tinge to it. Now what I mix with this as well, this Party Foul color. Ooh, it's so good with a little bit of this Gerard Cosmetics. This Gerard Cosmetics by itself is one of my favorite highlighters. And then I will go ahead, I'm not gonna bring this one all the way down like that. I'm gonna start about right here and really aim on that cheekbone. Circular motions. Once the product stops leaving, I'm gonna bring that up into the temple and then closer into the apple of my cheek. I'm gonna take Party Foul and a tiny bit of low key for the chin, on my forehead, right here, very lightly. And then I'm gonna switch over to a brush I used usually for my under eye. It is another Morphe brush, M506. I'm gonna take a little bit of that Party Foul and a tiny bit of Gerard Cosmetics, tap off the extra, and go down the middle of my nose, or the bridge of my nose. And then we're gonna on the tip. And then we're gonna do the same combo on my Cupid's bow. I think the bake is enough too. Let's just wipe that away using the same brush. Just give her a dusting. Wipe it off and then go back in. One more time. Alright you guys, so that is how I do my face makeup. The only thing I have left to do is I do use a setting spray. This NYX matte finish is amazing. I also love this one by Morphe, the continuous setting spray. It's amazing. And then I also love this Mario Badescu. Any of those setting sprays will work. So today I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to set it into place here. I like to dry it. Go ahead and finish putting on the rest of my face, my brows, under eye, lashes, and I'll come back and show you the finished look. So I will be right back for you guys. Alrighty guys, and here is the final result. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and maybe picked out a tip or trick within this video that will help you in your own makeup routine. If you guys have comments or questions, just leave them in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.